illustrator project on Carl Erickson. He used lots of different medias. He used charcoal, pencil, watercolor, Chinese ink, and gouache. He also drew from life and always drew with a model. So he was always looking at something that was living while he was drawing. His drawings had lots of curved lines and were very soft, not very bold lines, and not very straight, not very geometric. He drew for Vogue magazine, Coty Cosmetics, Marshall Field for advertising. He also did advertising for Lord & Thomas. He also drew for Balmain and Balenciaga. He drew for a few more as well. He was born in Joliet, Illinois. His parents were both Swedish. He was not a very studious kid. He began drawing very early. He would even draw in gym class. After his primary schooling, he went on to secondary school at Chicago Academy of Fine Arts for 2 years. And then straight after college, he did advertising, drawing in Chicago. And then in 1914, he moved to New York City and began doing advertising in New York as well. He did advertising for Marshall Field and Lord Thomas in New York. He later married fellow illustrator Lee Creelman and had one daughter named Charlotte. His first fashion design illustration publication was for Dry Goods Economist in New York. Then in 1920, he went and moved to Paris, and Paris soon became his second home. He loved Paris, and he began getting freelance jobs for publications in Paris. And then in 1923, he became the staff editor for Vogue. He later moved back to New York City, but he kept a studio in Paris and New York City and continued working out of both of them, so he would travel as well. He worked at Vogue until he died, and he died in 1958. After his death, to honor his work, he had an exhibit in Brooklyn Museum of Art after he died. He also is honored in the New Britain Museum of Art, the Society Museum of American Illustration, and a lot of other private galleries. Here's a self-portrait of Carl Erickson. He was also known as Eric. He would sign all of his artwork as Erickson instead of Carl. He got the name in elementary school, and it just stuck. Here's some of his art for Vogue. I think this was a front cover for Vogue. As you can see, the lines are not very bold. They're very soft. This was used with watercolor, but very soft lines, not very geometric, not very measured. Here's some more art he did for Vogue, also using watercolor and some other materials, but similar design and everything. This was an advertisement for Coty Cosmetics in a Vogue magazine. And here's two more pieces of his art. One was a Vogue front cover, and then one was also in Vogue. And here is my works cited.